the whole system is broken completely. And it's like the adults in the room, the guys with the big offices in the corner and the suits and ties that are making these decisions, they're the ones that have screwed this all up. Okay, so I think it's finally safe to say that things have just reached a chaos level when it comes to this whole Brendan Sorsby, Texas Tech lawsuit, suspension, Big 12 allegations, like the whole salad of everything that has been transpiring over the past few weeks. And now it has literally just now, look a fly, come across that sources are saying Texas Tech transfer quarterback Brendan Sorsby planned to enter the NFL Supplemental Draft amid legal wrangling over his NCAA eligibility after admitting that he bet on sports. He intends to head to the NFL. So I guess he's finally just thrown in the towel, given up, and he's moving on. And you know, this whole thing, like it shouldn't be this way. It shouldn't happen. Now, I'm not saying that he's right, because he's not right. Like, what he did was wrong. You know, the gambling, I don't agree with it. You definitely shouldn't be gambling if you're a player. Like, I'm not defending it at all. And I know that a lot of people that know me are going to say that I'm a Texas Tech homer. But the situation here is the whole system is broken completely. And it's like the adults in the room, the guys, you know, with the big offices in the corner and the suits and ties that are making these decisions, they're the ones that have screwed this all up. They're the ones who have basically ruined sports. And now they have the balls to come in whenever they have a kid who's a player and actually gets caught up in their system with their gambling and their apps and all the money that's bringing in, because that's what it's all rooted in, is money. And then somebody gets, you know, actually tangled up in that, gets an addiction or whatever you want to call it, and goes off the deep end and is now betting on Turkish basketball at 2:00 in the morning, or Croatian cricket, or whatever the thing is. And now they're appalled, and we can't believe that, you know, he's doing this. Like, this is such a problem. We can't have this. Just like, shut the hell up, man. You're the ones that have created this. You've created this monster. So now don't be playing the holier than thou card that someone has actually taken part in what you're doing, and now they've got a problem with it. Like, we're not buying it. You can't play both ends of the spectrum here. And of course, you're not going to hear that on the big networks. You're not going to hear that on ESPN or NBC or Fox Sports or any of the big networks. You're not going to hear them talking about the betting apps potentially being the problem. Why? Because they're getting the money from the betting apps. Every one of these networks, every single one of them is in bed with the betting apps, be it FanDuel, be it DraftKings, be it Prize Picks, be it Caesars Sportsbook. Like, the list goes on and on. But you know as well as I know, you can't watch a sporting event on any network for more than 2 or 3 commercials without seeing some type of an advertisement from one of these betting apps. Or it could be at the Coliseum or the arena itself. Like, they're advertising it on the LED screens, you know, in the middle of the scoreboard, or whatever the case may be. Like, we all know that we're inundated with this. And now, like, the whole thing has gone off the rails, and it's all because, like I said, these network guys, all of the major CEOs, like, they're raking in this money. And just like the Bible says, the love of money is the root of all evil. Not money itself. Money is not evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. And that's exactly what this is. They're making so much money off of these betting apps that, you know, you strip it down to the flesh and blood, to the bare bones of it, and it's like this evil empire that is overlooking every sports league. Name it. The NFL, the MLB, the NBA, Major League Hockey, like all of them are inundated with betting. You can parlay anything. You can, you know, bet on golf, all of it. You can bet on UFC fights. You can bet on NASCAR. And here's one that kind of blows my mind. I can't confirm it, but according to what I have pulled up here, and according to ChatGPT, Michigan State Athletics and LSU, who are both obviously NCAA schools, they have some type of a betting partnership with Caesars Sportsbook. So don't let the NCAA tell you, well, you know, we can't have this going on in the NCAA level. Well, obviously, you've got 2 schools that are involved in it right now. So, you know, don't be coming at Texas Tech like they're this evil school. Like, let's pull some skeletons out of your closet. Big Ten schools were saying we're not going to play Texas Tech in any sport if they allow Brendan Sorsby to play. Okay, Big Ten. Okay, Mr. Holier than thou guy who does no wrong. Let's go ahead and see what you got. Let's see what any school has, any Division I school, if you're in this same position. If you've got a quarterback that you transferred and you paid X amount of dollars, which, that's another rabbit hole we can go down. That's a problem, is the whole NIL BS, but we'll leave that on the side for now. But they've got a $5,000 or whatever investment in a quarterback. You've brought him in, and now this little situation comes up that you're trying to deal with. Well, they took legal action. They did everything properly according to the legal system, and they had a judge who said, he's going to be suspended for 2 games, and then he can play. Now, did the judge look at the schedule and realize that their first game is Abilene Christian and their second game is a very dilapidated Oregon State? So those are pretty much gimme wins, whether they have a star quarterback or not. I don't know that. I mean, we don't know that. We don't know what the judge saw or what he thought, but the judge granted him the eligibility to play. Texas Tech took the correct legal proceedings, and that's all they can do. And don't tell me that any other school would not do the same thing. They would. So don't be making Texas Tech the bad guy. Like, they're protecting their investment, or they were. I mean, obviously, by now, according to ESPN, they've lost that investment anyway. But the whole thing is just, like I said, it's money. It's based in money. It's been based in money, and Pete Rose was left out of the Baseball Hall of Fame, one of the greatest baseball players to ever live, and he was left out of the Baseball Hall of Fame because he was making bets. And now, the whole betting circuit has taken over sports. It's controlling sports. And don't tell me it's not manipulating things in sports either, because I can guarantee you that things are being manipulated as far as stats, as far as scores, to do these parlays and all of those things. But, we're not going to go down that conspiracy trail either right now. We're just talking about like the ridiculousness of this. And I hope that you're happy. I hope that the adults in the room are happy that they have ruined college sports, especially football. Even the conferences. Like, now there's no Pac-12 anymore. One of the greatest conferences back, especially when it was the Pac-10. Like, that whole West Coast where you had, USC, you had Washington, and then later on Oregon came in strong, Stanford there for a while. I mean, that was a great conference. Now there's no more Pac-12. And all of the Pac-12 schools are part of the Big Ten, which is like a Midwest and more Eastern Coast conference. So now you've got, schools like Washington and Oregon and USC and UCLA on the West Coast, as far as you can get, who are playing teams like Rutgers and Maryland and Penn State, who are all the way on the East Coast, and they're having to go back and forth all the way across the country for conference games. It makes absolutely no sense. But again, it's the mighty dollar. The Big Ten had more money than the Pac-12, and everyone just jumped on it. And it's ruined college sports. It's sad. It is truly sad. And now we've come to this, that, again, I'm not condoning Brendan Sorsby. I'm not protecting him. What he did was wrong. But the moral of the story is it shouldn't be allowed to happen to begin with. It shouldn't even be an availability. We should not be able to bet on sports in other countries that we don't even know anything about in the middle of the night, simply to, get a fix or to try to get out of the hole of a bet that you placed earlier. Like, this is so broken, so twisted, so wicked, and so money hungry. And then here we are. So adults in the room, I hope you're happy. All of you sporting networks, I hope you're happy. NFL, who's going to continue to just, run these DraftKings and Sports Duel and Prize Picks and you name it, like, go ahead and rake it in. But in the meantime, you're ruining the sport, and you're ruining it for the fans. And it's very sad. It's very sad. And that's all that I have to say about it. I just, it's a bad situation, and I don't know how it can be fixed. I don't know if it can be fixed, but something definitely has to happen, or the sports that we love to watch, like, they're not even worth watching anymore.